You may have heard that the Justice Department arrested some Chinese nationals today in New York City that were setting up quasi-spy agencies. Well, that's been going on for a long time. I mean, the Justice Department, because of this espionage thing in Massachusetts, they're embarrassed. They got to get out in front. So they rounded up a few Chinese nationals. Now, we'll have more on that tomorrow after I can figure out what the deuce they were actually doing. So these reports are initial, and I don't want to speculate on them. But there is surveillance going on from the Justice Department on Chinese nationals inside the USA, because China is the primary threat to this country. Now, there was a column over the weekend by Victor Davis Hanson. If you don't know him, he is a brilliant man. Victor Davis Hanson. Okay? He writes out of Fresno, California. He's a professor there. Now, he listed all of the problems overseas that have gotten worse under Joe Biden. And his thesis, Mr. Hanson's thesis, is that Biden is so weak that our enemies are taking advantage of us. I'm going to run those threats down briefly for you now. The first one, as mentioned, is China. Now, China is trying to figure out, is it worth invading Taiwan, killing maybe 100,000 people, because that's what would happen, and the Red Chinese would lose men too. Is it worth it? And then our economy is going to tank because there'll be all kinds of economic sanctions like Putin in Russia. Or should we wait or something? That's a calculation that Xi and the communists are making in Beijing right now. All right? If the Chinese do invade Taiwan, it's a war. Okay? Because we'll have to do something, whether it's naval, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on it. But the economy will just absolutely blow up along with Taiwan, because the Taiwanese will fight. Okay, the second one is Putin and Ukraine and Russia. And the man is a menace. He's a menace. He's got nuclear weapons, and he's, megalomaniacal, and he's capable of doing anything. Okay, so we all know about that. Now, I believe the Biden administration is doing the correct thing by arming Ukraine and destroying Putin's expansion, because he's not been able to expand since NATO and the USA have gotten the weapons in there. Gets a little gain, but at what cost? So Russia's not doing well. It's another inhibitor on China. The third thing is Saudi Arabia, which used to be our friend. It is no longer. It's run by a sheikh named Mohammed bin Salman. Okay, he's a prince. Now, Biden insulted him by accusing him of murder. There was a journalist, Khashoggi, killed in Turkey by Saudis. Saudis killed him, no doubt about it in my mind. Okay? And then Biden said, well, Salman did it. Well, that alienated Saudi Arabia. They're not our friend anymore. They're raising oil prices. They just signed a deal with Iran. Okay, that's the third one. Then we go into the Iran nuke stuff, which they're developing because there's no treaty. Trump got us out of the treaty, and then Biden said, I want to get back in, but Iran doesn't want to get back in. They want the nuke. Okay, that brings Israel in, because Israel is not going to let Iran get a nuclear weapon. Israel will attack Iran, and Israel doesn't like Biden. Okay, you see what's going on here? Then we go to Mexico, which is just basically giving the United States the middle finger, doing nothing to stop the millions of migrants traipsing across Mexican territory into the USA, and the unbelievable amounts of narcotics coming from Mexico into the USA. Obrador says, hey, it's your fault. You Americans want the narcotics, so we're not going to stop the cartels. But it's basically the cartels own him, Obrador. They own him, and they run the country. What is Biden doing about it? Nothing. Open borders. Everybody comes. Okay? And then you have France, supposed to be our big NATO ally. Okay? Macron up to here with domestic problems because he wants to raise the pension age in France, goes to China. You'll remember this. It was a big deal. It was not reported that way by the American press because the American press at this point doesn't know what the deuce they're doing. They don't, which is why you're here listening to me and watching me. So Macron goes there and tells Xi, hey, if you invade Taiwan, it's not our problem in Europe. I think she was real happy to hear that, right? Meanwhile, Biden, where is he on any of that? So Victor David Hanson and Bill O'Reilly both concur that this foreign policy is a disaster. And with all of those problems, this is going to impact how we live, how we go to work, how much money we have, what the money is worth. Now, Biden only has 17 more months before the election of 2024, but the Republicans are in disarray. Now, I don't think, as I've told you, Biden will run. His mental capacity is declining fast. The column in the Times of London over the weekend, and that's a very liberal paper. And the liberal columnist goes, he went to Ireland, this guy. He goes, no, we can't have this. He's too old. Okay, so summing up, I'm not buying any stocks for the time being. I will tell you when I start to buy again. I am going into defensive mode that may last until the next election. Because I know from my perch, and I have a pretty darn good perch, the Biden administration is a certified disaster. And the Democratic Party doesn't care. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201 or text Bill to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text Bill to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.